Hi everybody, how are you? Hope you're doing well. I hope you're happy and you're healthy and you're having a great weekend so far. So, hi again. Hi. So, I just wanted to come on and just say a few things again to you, all of you. And yeah. So I was able to finish my story, right? Of my really, really darkest moments in my life. And thank you for everyone who has followed me on my journey. And yeah, it doesn't stop there though, life continues to throw different things in my path. And the thing is that what you do with them, and do you embrace it or do you resist it or what? So yeah, it's all your choice. But I'm so really super excited that I've been able to work on myself the past couple of years, especially, and my childhood wounding and traumas, and I am super blessed, and I thank Papa every day for it. And like I said, I know if I can do it, you certainly can too. But yeah, so one of my big things, if I could share with you right now about, was just the whole being alone thing was like so heavy on me, and it was so scary for me. And yeah, and having lost so many people in my life and not having them in my life, it's very scary, right? It's super scary. So, yeah, and one of my biggest issues that I was dealing with was the codependency. I was able to break free from that. Now, of course, when you break free, right, from certain things like that, in traumas or addictions, right, you're gonna always be tested. That's just the reality of it all, right? It tests you. And yeah, so I've had some challenges. You wanted me to share with you on them, and for me, I'll just talk to you about that, the fear of being alone, and my codependency again, right? And yeah, but yeah, so I've been really doing a lot of going into hermit mode, really self-isolating, soul searching, trying to do a lot of healing, and it's really been, for the most part, really beautiful. And I've really grown from it anyway. But yeah, so one thing I'll just share is I love to exercise, and I've been really working on doing, like I said, a lot of self-care, and yeah, one of my fears did come true this past week. I was working out, and I love going to the gym, and I think I've been just overdoing myself. That's one thing I'm bad at, is I don't know my limit sometimes, and I push and I push and I push. And it can be good, right, in a lot of ways, but it can be bad too. And yeah, so I went to the gym, and I actually overdid it, and I'm slowly recovering from it now, but it's not an easy thing. It's kind of embarrassing in a way. I'll be honest, it is super embarrassing. But again, just as an example, how important it is for us to take care of ourselves. But I was at the gym, and yeah, overdid it, and I almost I came really close to just falling, just dropping, and passing out, and I just got really weak and really shaky and very lightheaded. And so what I usually do, and that happens very rarely, what it does is that it's either I haven't, taken care of myself or pushed myself too hard, like my low blood sugar or not hydrated enough. And days have been really hot, right? So well, anyway, I was on the treadmill for like a half an hour, and this huge episode just came across me like that. So I got off the treadmill and I do what I normally do. And I start walking around, I'm hydrating, and then I sat down and I'm trying to recover, and it wasn't happening. Not at all. Actually, it only got worse. It's not really funny, but I'm going to try to make it a little more funny anyway. And it was actually very scary. So I more went on, and my hands are tingling, and my heart is racing, and it felt like it was irregular, and super lightheaded anyway, super lightheaded. So I was scared. I was close. This is like in a half an hour goes by, nothing's better. And I had to go and talk to people at the front desk, the manager, and tell her what was going on. And then they all came to me, and they were all very super wonderful, or making me sit down. They're giving me Gatorade. They're giving me all these wet, cold towels, and helping me out in every way that they can, and asking me, who can I call for you? And I'm like, I think I'll be okay. I'm worried about bothering my son, who was working at the time, and wondering, who can I call, right? And I really didn't have anyone that I could think of, honestly. So that felt really terrible, right? And so that was one of my fears, is that what if I'm by myself and something happens, and I don't have anybody to reach out to. And but you know what? I was shown what Papa did that for me again. He showed me. He says to me, that's what a clear sign was for me, is that even though I didn't have anyone directly around me, like I say, he puts the people in your life that you need, right? So the staff and the manager and everyone, they were super wonderful again. I can't say it enough, and so sympathetic, and I'm embarrassed. I'm like super embarrassed. I want to just crawl underneath. They have a couch, right? I just want to crawl underneath there and hide, and like, oh my God, this is terrible, right? So, but see, they were so nice, and they were so understanding, and that was all in my head. And there's people that are there for us, even though we feel by ourselves, like I wanted to tell you. And then I did end up calling my son, and he came right over, left work. You're beautiful. I love you for so much. Thank you for being there for me. Every time that, I call and I need you, you're always there. So thank you. I love you dearly. But so it was quite an experience. But I finally, after an hour, was able to stop all this shaking that was going on all over me. I was trembling like a leaf, and I could finally, things went back to normal anyhow, with enough hydration and sugar and care. And so anyway, and then after that, I went home, and my son came, and he made sure I was all right. He's checking my fridge, saying, what are you eating? And anyways, just being really loving, and I appreciate that so much, so more than I could say. And then I went back to the gym. Now, that's my other reaction usually, right? It's like, oh no, this happened to me once again. How? I'm going to go back, and it's going to happen again. And it usually, in the past, that would have kept me away, right? I would have been too afraid. I would have let fear prevent me from doing it again. But I said, no, I'm not doing it, not doing it. It doesn't go in, and it doesn't do anything good for you. It makes you feel more imprisoned and more isolated, more alone. So I went ahead and I did it again. Okay, I went to the gym yesterday and started on the treadmill. This time I made sure I'm hydrated, I ate well and everything. So I said, okay, this should be better. I felt better. But guess what? I didn't get much sleep the night before, which wasn't good again, right? So, but I like to work out. So I went over there and I tried, and guess what happened? 7 minutes on the treadmill and boom, it started again. I'm like, no. And so, but this time, instead of not listening to what was going on, I did, and I got off immediately, and then I went to the front desk and bought myself more Gatorades and everything, and started to take care of myself. But the staff was there, the staff that was there the day before knew who I was at this point now, right? Now they know me pretty well. And they were like, how are you today? I'm like, well, I'm kind of feeling it again. And they're like, well, take it easy. You let us know where you are, what you're doing when you're feeling like this. First of all, of course, what you do is you stop, right? You stop what you're doing if it's too bad, because then you could have a major things happen, right? You certainly can. So, bad things. So, yeah. So anyway, they were really sweet. I'm like, I'm so embarrassed. I appreciate you so much. There, all of you, for doing what you did and being there. And then, yeah. So they were very sympathetic with me, and they were like, very, very wonderful anyway. And they were like looking out for me. And so I just started to do some less cardio and not so heavy weightlifting, and a little less reps. And I really took my time, as long as I could recover after doing one set of something, right? And then I even had like members in the gym just stop and say, you don't look so good. Are you all right? And I was saying, well, I don't know. I'm having a real hard time. And they're like, well, maybe you should be changing your diet and all this, and that, your heart rate. And I'm a nurse too, and I get it. And you're like, your heart rate, something's off. That happens. Don't push yourself, or go slow again. Less weights, less, more reps, and just stop if you feel anything, or don't do it again at all if it's bad. And then they were saying, like checking up on me. Are you all right? Are you okay? Explaining again what I already know, right? Is that when your heart rate's going up, when your like electrolytes are off and everything else is not right in your body for whatever reason, if you're lacking something, right? So my heart rate goes up and my blood pressure drops. And I think it was a lot of dehydration, too. So that's what I was experiencing, because I was definitely, putting the sugar in. And once took me a couple of bottles of the Gatorade to finally get myself more on a normal feeling better. But anyway, so they were checking up on me. The staff was coming by me and saying, hey, there's my girl. How are you doing? Are you okay today? And so it felt really good. And why I'm saying this is that, I came with this idea that I was totally alone, right? And that there's nobody there that would ever help me if I needed it. Breaking free from my codependence issues. And I, again, I reached out, right? I did that, and that was really big, and that was important. And I had these like limited beliefs, and these distorted thinking because of what I went through in my past, and my fears, right? Fears. So, yeah, but I just pushed through that, and I actually now have a big family, even a bigger family, by what happened to me at the gym. So they all know me now. They're all talking to me, and they're very supportive, and yeah, so it felt great. And so what, something negative, another thing, right? Something out of something negative, always something positive can come out of it. And that was super positive, knowing that. And then it actually, again, what else is great, and I'm going to say is, once I got rid of I'm battling this codependency thing, I was closing myself off to other people, right, and to other relationships, and I wasn't letting myself come out. And yeah, so that happens, right, when you feel comfortable in whatever situation you're in, whether it's good, bad, or whatever, but you're codependent, right? I guess that's what I want to say. When you're codependent on them, is that you're well, I have them, and that's okay. That was my thinking anyway. It's not right? It's like really messed up. Yeah, not healthy. So see, I still struggle, and that's normal, but I still am working on myself, and I'm always looking to better myself, and learning to take care of myself, and knowing how powerful my mind is, because that's what can keep me back, and thinking, well, again, if just makes you think that you're incapable of accomplishing things on your own, and which is so not true, right? And yeah, so what I did is, over here where I'm living in this big, beautiful apartment complex with surrounded by these wonderful people who have befriended me the past couple of years of being here, just by passing by and everything, and but not really letting many people in. And again, so now when I am freeing myself of codependency, it's bringing me out of my shell, so to speak. Yeah, my shell. And yeah, and I'm finding myself connections. That's it, right? It's connections. And that's how you do what? You build relationships, which I've, in all these years and everything I went through, that I totally lacked and lost, and so yeah, so it's a beautiful thing. And and I find out that people do care about me. There are people that care about you, and that you might not think that they do. And so, but you have to put yourself out there. You have to do the work, right? So yeah, so that's just another experience that Papa wanted to teach me and to show me, because that was that was really, really weighing hard on my heart. Was now that I am alone and I'm breaking free, what's going to happen, to me? Am I going to be okay? So again, but you have to get out of that mindset altogether. You can't think that way. You can't, right? Because that's fear, right? And fear will create so many blockages in your life, and it's an illusion. I think I may have said this already before, but I can't remember. I said, I've been talking so much to all of you that I might be saying something, and I'll repeat it again anyway, if I did. But anyway, so fear is an illusion, and it is, it's not real, and it's actually something that we are worrying about that might happen, that most likely won't happen, right? So that's the truth. So, why do that, for one? And again, it'll prevent you from growing. It'll prevent you from achieving your goals, and it'll keep you stuck stuck in a box, right? And that's no fun. So, yeah. So thank you, Papa. Thank you. And I'm happy to have learned that, that he showed me this, because I needed it. I needed to know that. It was so bad. My fear was so bad that I'd look at my phone and I'd be looking down and going, okay, all right, oh my God, every little thing that I would feel, this is me, every little thing that I would feel, like if I didn't feel well or something wasn't right, I'd be like, oh my goodness, who am I going to call? Who am I going to call? And my anxiety level would be like, whew, it would be like super crazy and through the roof, right? So, yeah. And then I had to talk to myself, and that's what you do. That's a really healthy thing to do, right? And once you practice that, and it gets, easier as you continue to do that. But you have to, when you think negative thoughts, you just push them out. Just get rid of those thoughts. Just push them out and think something good, right? Think something positive and think, no, I'm not going to let you, meaning yourself, because we're our worst, we're truly our worst enemy. We are. Well, I think a lot of us anyway. I am. So, yeah. And anyway, yeah. What was I going to say with that? What else was I going to say? So, yeah. So I'd look at my phone and I'm like, oh my God, I get myself all crazy. And then I would be like, okay. And nighttime was always really bad for me. The sun goes down, like sundowners. Oh my goodness, not that I'm making fun of people that have that, because it's very real and it's really scary. And really is scary when your sun goes down and darkness hits. Then you feel like all this anxiety and fear and yeah. So yeah, it was bad, and I would be looking through my phone and like, who am I gonna call? What if something happens? And I have somebody always there, and I'd have to tell them. So I tell myself, right? I'm like, it's okay. It's not real what you're feeling, and everything is okay. It was okay when you had somebody here. It's the same thing. There's nothing any different, and that's again. And then I pray, and the Papa comforts me. He sends me all these really comforting messages and gives me that peace. But so yeah, but I just wanted to get on and share my own, again, one of my struggles, and I just think it's just so beautiful. It's just so beautiful that, again, it was super scary. Don't get me wrong, when I wasn't feeling well, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me, and I don't want anybody to go through that anyways, but I was able to find peace in the fear now that I've been having. That I could see that known. And you know what? God's been telling me that. I've been praying, and I was telling him, I'm afraid of what if something happens to me and there's no one there, right? So, yeah, so I think in a way he allowed it. Of course, I played a big part in it, I'm not gonna lie, right? Of course, in this reality. But on the spiritual side, he showed me that, well, let's see what happens. Let's see when something happens like this, how untrue it is what you're feeling. And that you're by yourself. And then of course we have Papa, we have our spirit guides, of course, right? So we're not alone anyway, but we're never alone, right? So and I know that, but my human side of me and my wounding and what I've struggled with, and I continue to struggle with, did come out. And that will happen. Just don't give into it. If my advice is don't give into it, okay? Just meet it face on, head on, face on, like I said before, right? You have to meet it face on to beat it. You have to, because it will. I remember when I was in my marriage, when it was so bad, my second marriage. I was married for over a decade, about 11, 12 years. We were together. We were married 14 together, I believe. Right? My math's bad. It was like 2005 when I met him, and it was in 2019. January 2019 when we were divorced. So yeah, it's a long time. And you know what happened? Oh, I'm going to share this with you. What happened was that I became so fearful, right, of things like this, knowing that I had nobody and I was alone, and I started to have all this anxiety and all these panic attacks. And it was so bad that I started having them when I was driving, and I could go anywhere. I couldn't even go anywhere sometimes without having this major panic attack. And so the more fearful I became of having these panic attacks while I was driving, the less I wanted to drive. And then it became to a point when I always drove, it would happen, because I was always hanging on to that fear that it was going to happen. So I made it happen in that way, and so it was so bad that, and my husband at the time was like, well, I'll drive you to work, because I was only weekends, right? And I'll drive you to work, because I did the 12-hour shifts. And he did that forever, which was really nice of him. But guess what? It didn't do good for me, okay? Because I never overcame the fear. And it kept me more codependent on him. See what I mean? So yeah, that's really bad, right? So we don't want to do that, right? We don't. We want to be the best that we can be, because that's how we're going to ultimately be happy, right? And so that was huge. Anyway, I just wanted to come on and share it with you. And I usually say my prayer before I come on, and I didn't do that this time. And because I wasn't even sure how I was going to go into this today, but I'm just going to leave it with a prayer to Papa then, okay? For all of us. But so let's thank him. Thank you, Papa, God, all of our angels, spirit guides, for guiding us, protecting us, loving us, supporting us, right? Every day in our journey. And help. And thank you. Thank you for helping me channel this message to all of you today. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you, and I hope that helps. And it did help me. And that's just another so battling fear and those kind of things, and dealing with the codependency. So I'll be leaving you now, and I will talk to you again soon. I might go into next, actually, at the end of my marriage, and what happened, how I got myself back into my hometown. Okay, and then what happened since I've been here. It's been almost 3 years now, and I have a lot of things that happened to me since then. Again, that I had more lessons, in other words, that I needed to learn. And so about love, relationships, and most of all, me. So, which I have. And I owe it all to Papa again. So I'm going to do that next, all right? Okay, so anyway, I'll leave you here for now. I love you all very much, and if I don't see you again, you don't see me. I don't. I mean, you see me. I'm goofy right now. You see me, but I don't see you. But I will reach out to you again soon. Okay? All right. Have a great day. Love you all. Wishing you all the peace and love this world has to offer, and Papa most of all, and sending you all my love, all my light. All right. See you again soon.